Sky Squad, we are back in the building and we are joined by somebody I have had the pleasure of knowing for a very long time. The first person I actually met when I moved to LA. We have Jaimi Alexander here. Now, some of you guys may be familiar with Jaimi. She actually was on the show with me on Bravo back in the day on Stripped. But now she is making all the headlines all on her own and with a couple of other people on this show called $1 Million Secret. What's going on, Jaimi?
Hey, Richie, I love you. I miss you. I'm happy to see you. I love our journey because I remember the first day we met. Like it was yesterday. Like it was so instant, and we are such brunch people. Like and it's been history ever since. So I'm great. I'm so happy to be talking to you, especially about this stuff that's been in our wheelhouse for so long, reality TV.
You know what's crazy? I just got to go back real quick because I remember I walked into a brunch at Madeira. Little did I know that Madeira would become like my favorite spot. Like, we have so many Madeira memories.
Wow.
Is that still open?
No. It's not.
Brunch.
After my brunch left that place, they kind of tried to make it like a wedding type place. So a lot of people were, it just got different. And then COVID knocked out a lot of everything. So no, from what I know, it's a wrap.
That was our spot.
They should have really stayed rocking with your girl in a particular way because what? I mean, I remember one time having so many people there, they like tried to shut it down. Like, y'all should have just let us have that. Like, you should have let us have it.
Literally, because I remember anytime somebody would come into town, I'm like,
Let's
this is
go.
where we gotta go.
That's
This is
right.
where we gotta go. And I also remember this. I remember thinking, I don't know who this girl is, but we're gonna be friends. I had
Yep.
no idea how, why, or what would happen, but I just knew I love your energy. You're my type of person.
Yep.
So I was just like, that's it. We're gonna be friends.
Period. And are still
And here
locked.
we are,
Yep.
almost like a decade later.
Okay, so a decade is crazy, but it's the truth. It's a
I mean,
decade.
like, can you believe that? A whole
No.
decade.
What? That's crazy. I'm
And
probably
so
going to have to sit with that for like 20 minutes after we get off of here. Like 10 years?
it just occurred to me that was 10 years ago,
It's
and now
wild.
here we are. You are on
Yeah.
Netflix. Can I let me read the description about this show for the people that have not seen it, that have been living under a rock? Okay, 12 strangers receive a gift. 11 are empty boxes, and one contains $1 million. Games will reveal clues about the millionaire's identity, and they must do whatever it takes to keep their $1 million secret. Not to mention, this is in like what appears to be a mansion, a castle, a chateau. That was in Canada, am I correct?
Correct. Kelowna,
Okay.
Canada.
Okay. What made you decide to do this?
It kind of came to me because you know how the Hollywood hustle is, so to speak. You apply, you try, you put yourself out there. There's all these things you never know. You throw at the wall and see what sticks. But I'm kind of learning to sit in my generator manifester space. And with my life coaching business, the Sassy Method, I was just in my hustle mode on it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get on reality TV because I could post my life away, but there's no bigger platform than that. So I declared it with every cell in my body. I did an after show somewhere else. I met a girl, and I went to follow her on Instagram, and it turned out she had this casting director. The only person we had in common is this casting director that wanted to have me on a dating show that never happened. So I breezed by her page, didn't really see too much. 2 days later, this casting director hit me up like, hey, I think I have this thing you'd be good for. Let me know if you're interested. I'm like, $1 million? Yeah. And, X amount of months later, I find myself in the stag.
You know what's also funny is in talking about reality TV shows and in recapping a lot of housewife shows. For me, I have always thought you would make a great housewife for a
Uh-huh.
lot of reasons because I know your story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and I kind of want you to like get into just a little bit of your background and how you entered the life coaching space, but just also knowing your background in Orange County, I just kind of feel like that whole path you would make an ideal housewife?
Yeah, I think so. So I guess we got to find me a baller. And I guess I got to move to Atlanta or somewhere. Like, what are we doing? Like, clock is ticking. Let's go, Bravo. Yeah, no, it's interesting because, yeah, I went to high school in the OC. And I used to do like a lot of real estate. I turned 19. I didn't want to go to college. So I got into real estate, sold a house. I started doing music videos and stuff. I moved to LA and started modeling all this. And just when I was doing mortgage, obviously the industry crashed. So that's when I got an opportunity to discover like, okay, well, who am I? Because everybody's like, get a job. And now an entire industry has collapsed. Like, This isn't as sturdy as people think. So who am I? What do I want? What do people think I do? And that's when I started doing influencer marketing before influencer marketing had a title. Instagram did not even exist when I was doing influencer marketing. Nobody knew what I was talking about, but they were on board. They're like, she's fun. We like it. Sure, whatever. We'll show up. So, that and moving to New York with it, walking in Fashion Week. Like I said, music videos. I've been in like Nelly's Hot in Her. I was in Heather Headley, He Is, Avant, We Make Love, like all of these music videos, just having a ball, interviewing a bunch of different hip hop celebrities in New York for a company, just any and everything that I could do that sounded fun. Brunch was from December 2014 to literally they shut down brunch March 15th, 2020 in the middle for COVID. Of course I was having my brunch party. Like we got to go home. So there's just been this mishmash of like fun and networking and community and Hollywood for me in a bunch of little different bites, bits, and spaces. And it just, yeah, it definitely prepared me for this Netflix situation. And I had to kind of like grow into somebody who could be on a platform this large. Like, could I have handled it before? Sure. But I'm definitely like ready now. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You know what's funny? I feel like we kind of had a very similar trajectory in terms of like just things that we were doing back then that, people kind of call like a certain thing now, right? For me, I was DJing when I first came out there. And so I think that's probably one of the reasons why I gravitated to you because I felt like I could connect with you. Not only that, but I also felt like moving to LA, I felt like you were probably one of the most genuine people that I met initially. So I was like... I would later come to realize that's not easy to come by.
Yeah. That is literally why I create my own spaces. I didn't appreciate that about LA. There were some great things, but it was always like, y'all worried about shoes and labels and clothes and makeup and hair. This is the vibe. I like people. And there are some very cool people who may not be wearing Louboutins. We don't care. We are creating, we are thriving, we are connecting, we are building, we are visionaries. So I Chop It Up Sundays came about because I wanted to create a space that did not feel pretentious, believe it or not. Pretentious.
That's so funny. And I didn't feel like that when I entered this space. So that was actually, mission accomplished because I'm not even going to go down that road.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Literally. So let's talk about getting up in this house with these people. I got to tell you, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, oh, who is she going off on?
I was so serious, wasn't I?
And let me tell you, that was probably the spiciest moment of the show. Like, in terms of somebody, like, in terms of people interaction. There's other aspects of the show that I have so many questions about.
Yeah.
Not to mention there's like a little bit of underhandedness to it that you kind of...
Oh, I'm so glad you peeped it because there's just a very large chunk of viewership that is just like, huh? What? Where? Who? I didn't hear anything.
Do you feel like you're being painted as a villain?
Oh, 100%. But I'm also here to own that.
Talk to me about sort of falling into that role. Like, coming into the house, like, meeting everybody. What are your impressions? Like, how do you feel? Do you feel like, okay, was there somebody that you naturally gravitated to in the beginning and then maybe kind of figured out, no?
So, I mean, like, I love having this conversation with you because you know me. Like, for
Mm-hmm.
me, we come in, we're meeting new people, they give us champagne. You know how I am. It's like, like, it's just, I'm me. And that was my strategy going in. Like, just be yourself. I didn't want to pile
Right.
up a bunch of lies that I had to remember and all this. I was just like, girl, you gonna lie when you have to. But otherwise, keep it true because in my opinion, people are not as great at lying as they think they are. There are always tells. There really, really are. Energy is very silent and I'm sensitive to it. I don't always get it right, but a lot of the times I do. So I really thought everybody in the house was great. It was nothing felt funky upon arrival. I probably was like too cool and just too chill, you know?
I just reflected on that. You did not lie about your identity or
No, I didn't
anything.
lie. I didn't lie about anything.
I wonder. I kept wondering why people would choose to lie about. I mean, I guess maybe it's part of the game that you can do that and you can be someone else.
Mm-hmm.
But I also kind of feel like, isn't that hard to keep up?
I would say it's very hard to keep up. And so for an example, I'll use Sam as an example. And I love Sam. I always try to preface it with something because people like to put extras on stuff. I think Sam's amazing. However, in the house, I couldn't really lean into her because I felt
Mm.
something was off. I just felt it. I liked her. Me and Sam laughed. She's the type of person I could look at. We would hear something. I'd look at her. We'd be like cracking up. We just got the same vibe. Sam is a vibe where, I really like who she is as a person, but I could not lean into her. And then you find out, when you leave the side that she's a cop. Girl, like if you for 2 seconds thought anybody thought you was a stay-at-home mom. That's cute though. But like it's not in what you say, it is in, and then I do share, for example, well, I don't want to get into all that, but it's stuff like that kind of affects your gameplay. So it's like
Mm.
you can lie, but it's unfortunate because I do think an alliance with Sam could have benefited us both.
Mm.
Because of the way we think. We're different, but we could have, we could have ran circles around a couple of people if we really locked in, but I couldn't. So it's like some of the lies and some of the stuff that we choose to say or not say, yes, it's part of how you play the game, but it also, kind of felt like a little barrier in some instances.
Mm. Looking back, would you say that that was the case with most of the people that lied?
Yeah, because I don't want to be like, oh, you're not that good, because I think everybody did a good job, but you
Right,
just
right. But it's hard.
it feels off. It's a lot to keep up with. The weight of it. For example, you saw Lauren, like the weight of lying was crushing the girl. The weight of lying had the girl like,
I was like, Lauren, do you know what game this? Do you know you're playing a game? Like, I mean, okay, because there is the lying aspect, right?
mm-hmm.
And you don't really probably want to lie, but there's all. This is a game,
Yeah, it's a
and I
game.
just wanted to just jump through the TV. Girl, you're playing a game. It's okay. We understand. You're playing for millions.
Hence why I said, you can be genuine and still play the game, right? I'm such a good person and that's fine. We don't need that right now.
I gotta ask this question because it was blowing my mind from the first moment that it was introduced that you could, spoiler alert, that you can give away the million if you get it right, if you
Mm-hmm.
complete something. And I won't go too far, but why would you? For me, I believe in manifestation. Okay,
Same.
so let me touch that million. That's what I was thinking. If I get my hands on this million, it's over. It's a wrap. Why does a few people like want to be hands off of this money?
Well, so I was one of those people for a spell because it puts a level of heat on you that most people can't handle. That's what makes the game so sick. And I have to give it to Netflix when I tell you they put this together because people are watching and you think you would act a certain way. You think, I knew this would be a show that people would sit from their couch and be like, da, da, da. And I'm like, no, 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 no. We were blindfolded half the time. We did not even get the rules of the game until Peter came on the stairs and was like, this is what's going to happen. We didn't know anything. We don't know nothing of nothing. We are blind. We don't know the rules to no game. Walking up, talk about a dog being chased. I'm saying we don't know. It's just like, surprise. Like we was tossed all over that house like nobody's business. It was ridiculous. What? No, like you think but you have no idea.
So when it came, but that to me is like, give me the money. I want this money.
Right, but
let me touch it. Let me roll around in it, Jaimi.
Right. Let me hold on to it. Never let me go.
Okay.
It just depends on how you want to play, right? So let's look at the difference between Lauren and Phil. Because Phil also opted to give up the money. The idea really is, and then one side note is people have to realize this is the first time anyone's playing this game. We didn't have 12 seasons of The Trust and The Mole and Traitor to be 12 seasons of $1 Million Secret to get it. So the idea really is to have the money in the end. Good luck if you think that for 8 episodes, you're just going to hold on to that bag. Everybody in that house is smart and they come in for you. So it's the difference between Lauren and Phil is Phil did bring up a good point. Lauren wanted to get rid of the money thinking she could get it later, but it's also of arrogant assumption to think you will be around later. Number one.
Exactly.
Yes. Number two, Phil was like, what do we stand to vote the millionaire out for now? Valid point. Don't you want to wait until later? Yeah, because I know the money's going to stick with you when it starts moving again. And I'm looking queasy at breakfast like, all eyes are on you. You can't even hold hands and pray in peace in that house. They say Harry went home. People is on your tail and it does not feel good. You saw me, people looking at me, I don't got nothing. It makes you, I'm crashing out like, what? Yeah. It just doesn't feel good. I just have never felt, it's crazy.
You know why I think it is? I mean, for me, I was like, give me the million, because I feel like it's kind of a delicious little role to play.
It is.
To see if you can handle these challenges. But then I'm like, oh my God, like when y'all give somebody who makes it into the room, y'all gonna give away a major secret about this person? Like that makes it kind of hard. So I do get it in that regard, but I just feel like the people that got it, I mean, they were able to put on such a show.
I wanted to have fun so bad, Richie, especially because I do have an actress background. Like I kind of just wanted to act a fool a little bit, but I never got the opportunity to really, but I was down.
Even though they were, okay, spoiler alert, but not spoiler alert. Some people were certain that you had that money.
It was so ridiculous to me. And more than anything of defending my position, it's just like, in real life, I hate not being seen, heard, or understood because it's real simple. I'm very transparent. I'm very clear. My words that are coming out of my mouth are very, and I get it, right? We don't know people and whatever, but their logic behind things, I was like, come on. How does that even make sense? Y'all are too smart for this. Okay, really? So this is why you think okay. I'm really trying to give you something to work with so we can actually handle this, but as the game dwindles down and people dwindle down, as you can see too, it becomes less about who's lying and the millionaire and me trying to get it, and alliances and teams and camaraderies and strategies. So there's also that at play.
What did you make of, okay, and so that kind of leads me into like a little bit of a different question regarding like who gets the money. The varying reactions to getting the money was so interesting to me. Like Lauren crashed out, Phil kind of crashed out. Like I was just like, is it that bad?
It is.
That, like, I mean, Lauren was so distraught. Mm-hmm. Do you think a lot of that was real? Because once she didn't have the money and kind of went back to being a regular player, she was different person.
Did we ever see regular Lauren? I'm not sure. Because, okay, yeah, so let me answer your first question. It is that bad. It is very hard. It is very, very hard. It's like they call it predator and prey because you're being hunted. Have you ever been hunted before?
No.
With high stakes on the line, we all came there to get that money. It don't feel good to be hunted. Like even when I was being hunted for no reason, just with the gate. I mean, it was terrible. It was the most terrible and draining day ever. It was horrible. It was horrible. Nothing about it feels good. Again, you think you can handle it until you're in there. I'm just like trying to relate to people, anybody watching as much as possible. It is diabolical. This was the sickest social experiment I have ever seen in my life. Emotions were everybody was a wreck. You're on guard at all times. At all times, you get no peace, no rest, no moment. And just when you think you can chuckle, you better not even chuckle. It could be a problem.
Is it at least like fun? Like when you guys aren't on camera, like do you get any downtime in that situation?
No, we got no downtime. So that's the thing, right? Because in order to tell this story properly and give it to you guys honestly, we can't go off and have all of these conversations and kiki and kick it and whatever, and then come back on camera and have discovered all of this stuff or have made all of you guys have to see everything. So when we weren't filming, genuinely, we weren't talking. So the fun parts were like the challenges, because it was a moment to breathe. It's like, you want to be competitive, you want to be this or that, but your focus is kind of just winning the game. And that was really fun because they set up all of these wild things for us, as you can see. And we did have moments, like we would get up for breakfast and it would be nice to have a moment. But then Peter would show up and you're like,
make me a drink.
Peter, I just want to eat my eggs. I just want to eat my eggs. Peter, let me eat my eggs. Like, it's a lot. I just wanted to eat my breakfast. Like,
okay, I gotta ask you this question. Why was Lydia so upset with you?
Because she didn't like how I talked to her friend Lauren. That's what I gather. I mean, as you can see on the show, because I didn't see it in person, because to be honest, Lydia to my face was, you want to borrow my scarf, my hat? Oh, these shoes would look great on you. And like, we not beefing. Nobody was really beefing in there. There was no.
Yeah, you didn't really. That's what I meant earlier. Like in terms of people going at each other, the tension is not that.
No,
there's
it wasn't
another
that.
tension.
Correct. So yeah, from what I gather from seeing her comments and, just whatever, and seeing on the show the parts I didn't see, like, Jaimi's not a life coach. She was so cruel to Lauren. We got to get her ass out. She's cruel. Like, I didn't know that was going on.
Was that your biggest surprise? Like in terms of watching it back, like, and then seeing what people said, was that the biggest thing for you?
No, my biggest thing was, Sam and the clue towards, what was that, episode 7? That was my biggest thing. When I saw that, I was like, man, come on, man. So that's how that went down. Got it. All right. Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. Like, I felt some kind of way about that, and like, not personally so much, but it's like that's what people don't understand too. Like, you almost do take it personal a little bit. Like, we are playing a game, but we're also human, and I'm not afraid to highlight that part, even if other people want to be like, no, it's a game. Like, well, girl, you did a lot for that just to be. But okay. So I'm here to tell you that I think regular human emotions, obviously, as you can see, whether people deny it or not, play a heavy-handed role in how you respond and how you feel and all of these things. So the only thing I can say is me not being able to lean into Sam. I'm pretty sure she probably felt a way about that too, right? Like, me not being as But we're cool. It's nothing like whatever, but it's just a little, I got a little tick about you, girl. You made me itch a little bit, you know? Something's off. So I'm sure like just whatever that energy was played a role, but that was the most shocking thing is to watch her decide who she wants to go around to, spill this thing and pin it on me and get me out. That's just what happened. And I don't love it because it sucks. You know, I'm not going to act like it doesn't suck, but do I like hold it against her? Like, no, you were playing the game and you played it according to what you saw fit. I can take that. I don't like it, but it is what it is. That's fair, right? I mean,
it's fair. The biggest disappointment for me, for you, is Sydney.
Why?
I just felt like we're supposed to be number one. I would have never left that room. Girl, one of us got to go. You've been here before. I'm not leaving. You leave. You had your chance to do this one time and you effed it up. Give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
And
so
then
like
for
with the
you to
trophy
come out
room,
of
right?
that, for you to come out of the trophy room, and then you trust her completely. And then she sits down at that table. And so one person says, "Oh, two sisters. It must be you." Like what?
So I want to explain that, right?
Please.
Yeah. So people, I didn't just hand over the clue. I wasn't just
Okay.
like, yeah, girl, you never had it before. No, I clearly state I trust her, but I don't trust anybody more than I trust myself.
Right.
So we went back and forth in that room for quite some time. Now, what I would have wished I said, because it would at least given me a fair shot, is have Peter flip a coin, right? Because if he'd have flipped a coin, you know what I'm saying? But we went back and forth for a while, and then we tried to devise a plan. Okay, so we were sitting up in there talking about, okay, so the clue, and then what happens? And we come out, we got to do this, and we got to, you know what I'm saying? And you got to also realize her and I are not fully in the known that the entire house has iced this out. So she really is the only person I can trust.
Gotcha.
So I knew that when we got to the table, the only thing I wish Sid would have done differently, especially because now knowing that it wasn't a clue, it was immunity. Now that's also something you can't share. So she couldn't be transparent with me about that so we could rework the plan.
Right.
But it was just kind of like, I kind of wish, maybe she would have went harder on somebody else.
Right.
Because then I could have just went there. But at the table, because it was like a general consensus of me, I know that she was just going with that flow, but I knew for a fact she wasn't voting for me. And she didn't.
She didn't. So I did.
Correct.
So we tried
to, yeah.
So she must have just said it just to kind of like, let me show them I'm on the same page.
To fly under the radar. Correct. Because
got it.
You do got to kind of keep it copacetic with people. As you can see, look why. You got these people running around. We're not going to tell this person. People had already assumed, like, after one lunch with Sydney, people were like, alliance. It was like, we're eating. So there was also that whole thing with like, oh, Lydia talking about the cool kids and the cool kid. We didn't self-proclaim. We didn't call ourselves that.
Do you think that was based on how you guys look?
1,000,000%. And this is what I wish the general public, well, I don't care because, right, the majority low-key never gets it. And that's why you got to be the exception to the rule because you see and pick up on things that other people are not getting. And so that became a huge problem. Hence why I said what I said at dinner. And I just wish people could understand that instead of taking these things for face value, not like you guys missed a lot. You have and I'm very sensitive to energy, Richie. Like, you know how we are about our personal development. And I don't claim to know it all. I'm so self-aware and I'm willing to be accountable. If I'm wrong and I really messed up, I'm okay with being like, okay, like, you know, but I said what I said. I saw what I saw. I heard what I heard. I felt what I felt. And it's wrong. Stop that. There was a lot of that going on. Hence why, you know, Lydia probably felt comfortable. First, Phil is the one who went around the table first at his elimination. Harry didn't do that. Say Young didn't do that. Lauren didn't do that. Phil did that because Phil had a different relationship with all of us. And he said the most loving, kind, and heartwarming things about everybody, about what he's learned, about how he grew, about how we touched him, about what he saw in us, hence the waterworks. So then Lydia goes next and thinks it's a great time for her to go around the room, which nobody asked for. And then comes to me like, oh, you're just pretentious and shallow. Like, girl, you've been holding on to that for days. Like, that's weird. What's going on? That's weird. On your way out, this doesn't even have anything to do with gameplay. You're going home.
It's like, bye, girl.
I'm gonna sit my ass right here. That's why I'm gonna sit my ass right here. Go home and tell your husband about it.
Bye. Can I just say justice for Phil? That man went through a lot.
Phil went through justice for Phil. He went through so much.
I was like, oh my God, not your tooth. I was like, oh, we got to stop. No. Get the dentist in here. I gotta return. Listen, Sam left on her first day. I'm literally appalled. Like, girl, you got a headache? You got a migraine? Are you sick? What is wrong with you? How do you guys, I'm gone. What?
An allergic reaction to something. And although that was very real, trust and believe, we don't know you.
So there was a medical thing.
She had an allergic reaction to something that was, agitating her. So it was real. It was real, but when you don't know each other, and that's why in the first dinner, we're like, Corey was like, I don't know. And it's like, cause it looks suspicious. You done ducked out. That's real cozy. We can't look at your behavior. We can't get to know you. Like, we're missing out on intel because one person is out. So it did feel like a problem. However, she really had, a little reaction going on. And they also took care of Phil. Phil put it on his page too. So they got him to where he needed to go and got him all patched up, and he was back in the game. Because
it really looked like Phil was just suffering there with like the whole tooth going. And I'm like, what is going on here? What in the torture?
Oh, they got my mans together. He's all right. Phil from Philly, he's good.
I didn't know how I would feel about him at first, but I ended up really just enjoying his presence. I felt like when he left, there was a bit of like heart that left with him. Yeah. Like genuine heart.
Yep, it was genuine.
Like, I didn't dislike Lauren. I thought it was an interesting choice to make her like that first one because you could see how she cracked and how it just, oh my God, it was eating away at her. Yeah. That was my first real taste of, oh, okay. Yeah. I see some really interesting moral like dilemmas here, but I kind of felt like, girl, it's a bit too much because aren't you here to win this money?
I mean, that's what it is.
You think you're going to be there to get it back?
That's the whole point, though. It's just, and you think, but it's like, to her defense, not like she needs defense, but I thought she did great as the millionaire. I think it was perfect that she was the first millionaire.
It was fun watching her slink around trying to get these things accomplished.
It was wild. It was amazing. I thought it was so fun. It was so cute. She's established her own thing. I do also think Lauren is really cute, smart, fun. Like, off camera, we had some real laughs. Like, I really liked her. And I think that Netflix did however that happened, I think she was the perfect first millionaire. It worked, but it would be an arrogant assumption to think that you're going to make it the next day. Like, when we go to deliberations dinner, they let us know to have your bags packed. Don't come to dinner without your bags packed. Because
that's stressful in and of itself right there.
Period. Have your bags packed. Nobody wants to go home. You don't know what's going to happen when you walk into dinner. Again, can I eat my eggs? Can I eat my steak? Can someone give me another glass of wine?
I try not to, when I'm interviewing people, I try not to watch too many things that they've also talked about because I like to have my own conversation.
I love it.
But I think I saw something somewhere where you had been left out of the group chat for a while.
Oh, yeah, you saw that.
With the cast. Can you detail what happened and why?
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I wasn't. So
ain't nobody saying nothing.
No. So me, Kyle, Chris, and Sydney immediately had our own group chat because we have our own vibe. We had our own group chat from the gate. They did make me privy to the cast group chat, but I mean, I didn't know what it was about. I'm cast. I didn't see anything, get anything, no notifications. I don't know nothing about nothing. But when when they let us know what the air date was going to be, I think me and Say Young were chit chatting just on DMs, like, oh my God, girl, here it's coming, or whatever it was.
I liked her.
I do like
I
Say Young.
liked her
I
a
like her.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
She's the one who added me, even though it was months and months later, but she ended up adding me. But even the way that was, she was just like, oh, I didn't, almost like, not like I forgot, and I don't want to put words in her mouth, but what I got from it was like, oh, I didn't even, da, da, da. And I'm like, there's only 12 of us. There's 12. Y'all are all smart. There's only 12. So me and Harry were in there. So when they decided to put me in, fine. I'm just, all right. And then, I'm like, we're not going to add Harry. Somebody please add Harry. And then Harry's the last one in. So for me, the reason why I mention stuff like that is because when y'all talk about mean girls and cool kids and you don't feel like family and all that, I need you to think about how you behave, because the only mean girls and bullies and cool kids that I see are performative actions from others. I don't act like that. I don't exclude people. I didn't call anybody names. I don't throw rocks and hide my hands. And I just kind of see a lot of that type of stuff, but I'm the one that says something about it. And I don't think people like that. So I can't tell you why it was omit Jaimi, because if you listen to these podcasts or just my report, they'll tell you how great, how funny, how they loved having me, how they experienced me, because I'm going to tell you 95% of the time in the house, I'm me. We lit. It's up. There's no reason to be. That's how I function. I'm happy. I like to have fun. I like to be funny. I like to kick it. I really genuinely am interested in people. So I don't know.
And that's why I have like I'm like, why?
I don't. Maybe you can ask one of them.
Oh, I'm not.
Nah, yeah. Look, whoever might want to, because I don't know.
It ain't no disrespect to them, but I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like first of all, I love these types of shows, right? But then also too, I'm watching because I want to support my girl. So and I want to get your perspective. I have questions that I want to ask you specifically.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have any questions I want to ask the rest of them.
Yeah. Fair.
I almost didn't finish watching it because once you were gone, I was like, I don't care.
Yeah. I'm a head out. I'm a head out.
So for people that like to call me biased, you're right in this instance. That's just how it is. Like, we support our people.
And that's okay.
What do you, who are you close to now? I mean, are you and Harry close? Like,
we're cool. Like, so, I mean, I will say we're all in the group chat. I'm really not somebody who's just living to like beef with and bark at people.
Right.
But, I'm also not blind or dumb. But we're all in a group chat. We throw stuff in there. We chit chat in some kind of way every day. Again, I feel copacetic with everybody. Even Lydia did a interview thing with all of the cast and asked us a bunch of questions. I opted in. Sure. I was the first one to do it. Why not? I don't need to. You can think I'm pretentious and shallow. You can do whatever you want. I am solid in who I am. Anything, this stuff doesn't bother me. So I would say we're cool, but it's me, Chris, Kyle, and Sydney that actually rock. And I think, we actually, flew out and made it a point to get together and like celebrate together. We talk together and we uplift each other and stuff like that. And it's been that way since we left the Stag. So that's who I rock with. That's who I mesh with, genuinely on a more personal level.
Now that I think about it, I mean, they kind of like put you and Sydney as the villains. That seems to be the positioning of like from the rest of the cast perspective as I watch the show. Mm-hmm. But you didn't get that impression, or at least maybe did you?
I'm going to tell you right.
Felt like that about Sydney?
They're intimidated. Because I'm going to tell you right now, we are two of the most loving, loyal, most good-hearted, genuine people. We are. And if you watch the show, we're not the ones like sneaking around and seeding things and saying things about people in our confessionals. We're not doing any of that. But I can tell you who was. So it's just very strange to me that it's so easy. It really, and I like to talk about the deeper stuff. In my opinion, it really brings to surface the collective bias. Because there's no way I could sit and say, as a Black woman, I'm triggered by Lauren types, because those type of girls always, what? I'm triggered and threatened by girls like that, or I don't like girls who you immediately, like, you can't look like a me or a Sydney and say nothing really about somebody who may not appear as model-esque. We gonna be bullies either way. I can't speak up. If people were listening to my words at the dinner table, I said, that's what you did. How do you think I feel? But we're missing that. And we're like, you mock Lauren, you're mean, you're cruel. I am trying to tell this girl how you're making people feel. I already came to you earlier in the day and told you were being offensive and you're hurting people's feelings. Sydney also pulled her aside and said the same thing. So the mean girl's over here trying to have a heart to heart. So it's almost like it brings the question, who's the real bully? Because you're walking around here, and that's the funny thing, right? It's like, I feel the energy. It's like, you don't even believe yourself, girl. I can hear the baselessness in your voice. What you're doing ain't working, bro. You gotta stop. Like, you really need to. It feels ugly. And that's what everybody thought of me when I'm like, oh yeah, you and Sydney, you guys think that's so terrible. Exactly.
And I think it's almost like, as a viewer, because we get so much of her perspective as someone who has the money.
Correct.
And we follow that journey so much more intimately. You almost feel like I'm in her story in that first episode or so, right?
Yeah.
So when that happens, the context for which you're explaining it makes so much more sense now, because she does specifically state that Sydney's type, right, and her type, she kind of makes it seem like they don't mesh.
But for what? Nobody's doing anything to.
It's high school.
The cool kids, those girl type. We don't have those problems. Sydney and I don't have those problems. We weren't treating anybody like that. And we don't treat anybody like that. After the show, we're still not treating anybody like that. People are missing it. And it's kind of crazy. So it's just an opportunity to, again, look at the collective bias. And you really got to, I don't know, we're stuck in that. So there's a certain group of people who are kind of stuck in that. And, we don't play about that. Sydney is also someone of personal development, just like me. And if you watch her, you'll see, for example, when I forgot who started crying. I think it was Sam. She's the first one to get up and go over and console. Nobody was like, ugh. I had even told Lauren at one point, girl, we were so cool because Lauren and I and Chris and Phil, we were all in the same car to go do the shooting challenge. We had a ball. I thought Lauren was great. We were hamming it up, just us girls, all no beef, no problem. So when you said you noticed she flipped the script, I was like, girl, what is all this? Because me and Sydney sat and had some lunch. Everybody broke off into whatever. That was my first time talking with Sydney one-on-one. And baby, the way it became a problem is concerning. And you think I can't feel that. You think I can't. So me watching the episode back and seeing that her specific words were being threatened and triggered by Sydney types, that's a prejudice. That is a discrimination. You don't have to be Black or a man that's still, you're judging somebody by what they look like. And now you're running around the house with receipts talking about you breathing funny. I recognize we're not doing that, girl. We're not doing that. We're not going to, whatever you're doing, whatever this is, because I can't pinpoint it at that point. Now we watch the thing back and you tell us it's so threatening and you're triggered by. So that's what you're running around the house doing. And that's why you sound like that.
I gotta ask you this. Can you please tell the audience about how you got into life coaching and just how you are able to help people? I really want to
Yes.
touch on that.
Yes. So I got into life coaching January 2023. I kind of felt like I got the word in my spirit because y'all know I be getting the word in my spirit
Amen. Amen.
that I need to share what I know. Sometimes we know a lot of things and we don't share because we just assume people know it already or just whatever. But I started to feel like spiritually, like I was hoarding
Mm-hmm.
information, and I have brought myself out of a lot of things. I have grown tremendously, still growing, still learning, still healing, which, yeah, or, I'm going to always be in a space of personal development of sorts, but I just felt like I needed to share. And as I started to, actually, my first client was my friend. So I started developing it. I started putting it together. I started getting excited about it because, so for example, Jaimi, the spiritual meaning of my name means to supplant, which means to supersede and replace. So this is really how I live my life. I'm always leveling up and replacing the old with the new. And let's do it, supersede and replace. I do that with everything, even my own energy. So I created something, and then, me and my friend, we went to Tulum, and she was talking on the beach, and we were talking about this guy and all this stuff. I was like, girl, you need my coaching program. So I was like, just straight up, like, I can help you, but we need to sit down. And just to watch the transformation, like she told me, and I got this with at least 4 clients after that, by the second session, they dropped their therapist. They're like, I've gotten more from you than I've gotten from my therapist in 2 years. So my no nonsense, get to the I feel, blah, blah, blah. I'm being very honest. It's hard to get stuff past me. One, because the old version of myself, like the trauma of feeling like I needed to be a people pleaser, feeling like I couldn't handle people not liking me because I couldn't understand why. Being the eldest daughter to a 20-year retired Marine Christian man who didn't want daughters who behaved a particular way, to like all of these things kind of had me on pins and needles. And when you are in that type of, I'll just say trauma, nobody like did anything to me. My family is amazing. But like what I'm saying is my perspective of not feeling free to be myself, you get sensitive to energy. Like you can feel when somebody doesn't like you. You can feel when somebody's talking about you. You can feel when somebody, because you're sensitive to it, because you're like trying to mitigate all this stuff. So I took that and eventually was like, we're going to learn, we're going to grow, we're going to, and discover. And I set myself free completely, and, the reason why I have the confidence to sit up here, even with hundreds of trolls telling me what I should or shouldn't do, I'm unshakable. And I believe that everybody deserves that. When you are functioning in your authentic self, you actually get the blessings that are designed for you. A lot of people are stuck in societal, religious, and parental boxes that the whole world is missing out on you and what you have to offer in this very limited time we get on this earth, because you're trying to conform and please and you're staying with this man so you can be married and all of this stuff that we're doing, we're pretending and performing, and it doesn't feel good to us. That's why we're passive aggressive. That's why we throw rocks and hide our hand. That's why we have these biases, because you are not free. So once I freed myself up, I made it my mission to free others. And I'm happy to, somebody said the other day, it's very special when you can walk out of the fire, grab water, and bring it back to the people who are still in it. And that's all I'm trying to do.
I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know that's the clip for social media. I mean, that's the message. That's, I always think when somebody watches, a video of mine, I hope they leave having a better day than when they started, or they had fun, they learned something, or they laughed, or something like that. But in this instance, I mean, of course, I knew because I was talking to you what they would get anyway. But
Yes.
it just makes me happy because I feel like, I mean, yeah, we talked about the show, which is what I wanted to do and highlight it. But anytime we can leave a message for people, I feel like that's the icing on the cake.
Same. And that is just like my mission. That is the reason I went on the show. And no matter what I get from it, take from it, I'm going to always bring it back to this because any and everything that I've done or started has been because I deeply believe in the freedom of people. We deserve to be free. We deserve to be creative. That's why I make spaces for us to be free. That's why, when I started my influencer marketing company before that, it was like, no, you should be free to create and do all this just because you're not on Oprah or Steven Spielberg's platform. Let's freaking make it. You're killing it. Like, let's see your talent. Let's do the thing. Like, that's what we deserve. That makes the world a happy place to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can you tell everybody where they can find you? Of course, it'll be in the show notes, but it's better to hear from your mouth.
Yes. So you guys can find me on Instagram and YouTube at Jaimi Alexander, which is Jaimi. I am on TikTok at It's Me _Jaimi and Sassy Method everywhere. Sassy Method on TikTok, Sassy Method on Insta, and sassymethod.com.
So make sure you guys are following. Jaimi, thank you so much for taking the time out. I appreciate you. I love you. And of course, you got to come back. We'll talk something else.
Please, I would love that. I miss you. I love you. Thanks for having me. And I hope your audience gets everything they need and more.
Amen. Amen. Skye Squad, we will catch you in the next video. All right, girl. How do I stop this? Oh.